Welcome to Film and Page. I'm Dominic, and in this video I'm going to be talking about The Dark Forest, Book 2 of the Remembrance of Earth's Past trilogy, originally published in 2008, with the English versions published in 2015 and 2019, written by Cixin Liu and translated by Joel Martinson, published by Tor Books. So taking a brief look at the physical copy of The Dark Forest. And right away, I really like the cover of these books, just the way the color schemes are. I really like the cover of The Three-Body Problem, and I really like the cover for this one. I like how you have this like purple color scheme for the background, and you have this yellow and orange colored font for the main title, and the main title like really pops off of the cover. So really nice looking, and it is a good size. It's that trade size, bigger than a paperback, like almost like the size of a hardcover. And I find this style of book, for me personally, these are the most comfortable to read. I find they're more comfortable than a paperback, and they're a bit more comfortable than a hardcover book. And even though I prefer hardcover books. And the other thing about this is it doesn't have like traditional chapter breaks. It has breaks like this, but it lays out nice, really comfortable to read. Take a look at the spine. And there is the back of the book. And when you have these books together, they really look good on the bookshelf. Actually, it took me a bit of hunting to actually track down The Dark Forest for some reason. All the bookstores in my area had The Three-Body Problem and Death's End, but not the middle book. Now, the only gripe I have is I don't like this. Now coming to Netflix, like this, I wish this wasn't on there. I understand it because it's supposed to be a series coming to Netflix, but I wish it wasn't on the cover of the book. So not last summer, but the summer before, I read The Three-Body Problem, and I absolutely loved that book. That was a fantastic science fiction book, and I did a review of that one on my channel. So I couldn't wait to get in and read the sequel, The Dark Forest. So I finally tracked down a copy and read it. I have to say it is a very strong follow-up to that first book. Now, not quite as good as the first book in my opinion, but a very strong follow-up, but I'll explain why later on in the video. So now, spoiler warning if you haven't read The Three-Body Problem. And if you haven't read it, you should just shut this video off right now and go find the copy and read it right away because it is fantastic. So in the first book, the whole idea of the first book is humanity sends out a signal into space and finds an advanced alien civilization, makes contact. So it's all about humanity making first contact with an advanced alien civilization. And it doesn't go well for humanity. They contact the Tri-Solarians. And so the Tri-Solarians decide, now that they know of Earth's existence, they have a very inhospitable planet because of how their solar system is set up. So they decide, we're going to destroy humanity, and we're going to take Earth for ourselves because it's a lot better planet to live on than the one we have. So they construct a space fleet and they send it to Earth. But it's going to take the fleet 400 years to reach Earth. So in that time, humanity has 400 years to prepare for when that Tri-Solarian fleet arrives. Now, to throw a monkey wrench into things, the Tri-Solarians have locked human scientific advancement. And they used these supercomputers that are like the size of like a proton to basically block any advancements humanity might make in quantum physics. So humanity's scientific knowledge is basically blocked off. They can't get any more advanced. So they only have humanity only have whatever means that's left to them to try to figure out a way to stop the Tri-Solarians by the time they reach Earth, and they have 400 years to do it. So that is the whole idea with the first book. So now the second book, The Dark Forest, deals with all the aftermath of that. So at this point in the story, all of humanity knows about the Tri-Solarians, and all of humanity knows that there's an advanced alien fleet on its way to Earth. So now humanity has to prepare for that. So where the Sophons that have been sent there by the Tri-Solarians, where they can see and hear everything humanity does, We can't hide anything on our computers. We can't write anything down. Anything we say, they're going to hear it, and they know it all in real time because of superstring theory. It's all transmitted back to the Trisolarians right away. So humanity has to come up with a way to somehow plan a counterstrike against the Trisolarians without the Trisolarians getting the jump on us or figuring out what our plan is before we have a chance to even do anything about it. So the governments of the world come up with this plan called the Wall Facer Project. And basically what it is several individuals will be handpicked for this project. So they will be handpicked, and then they will come up with a plan in their own mind that they will not share with anyone else. Not each other, nobody, not the governments of the world. Because the only thing the Trisolarians can't figure out is they cannot read our thoughts. So they don't know what we're thinking. So the idea goes that each one of the Wall Facers will come up with their own plan to try to save humanity from the Trisolarians. And so whatever they request from the governments of the world and the organizations that have been that are working to try to stop the Trisolarian fleet, they have to give it to them, and all they have to say, it's part of the plan. And so it's a very, very interesting idea that the novel deals with. So our main character that we follow through this book, his name is Liu Cixin. He gets chosen for the Wall Facer Project. And he's a very reluctant character. He doesn't really care because in his opinion, well, 400 years from now, I'm going to be dead. Long dead. I don't care about this Trisolarian fleet. But he sees that he can take advantage of this Wall Facer project to benefit himself. So he starts off as a pretty self-centered character, and we follow him throughout the book. And he's a self-centered character and a reluctant one. And so that's the setup for this book, is humanity is trying to plan a counterstrike against the Trisolarians with this Wall Facer project. And now there are some characters from the first book that come back into the second one, like Wei Wenji from the first book. She's in this one a little bit. But Da Shi, the crooked cop, he comes back and he plays another major part in this book, which I was really glad about. I was glad they brought that character back because he was my favorite character from the first book. So that was really nice. Now, like I said earlier, this one didn't quite grab me like the first book did. The first book was like a science fiction thriller that just pulled you right through the story. It had all these mysteries set up in that you had to, you couldn't figure out what was going on, so you had to keep reading, figure out what does this mean, where is this going, and it just pulled you right through the story, and it was a very fascinating book. Now, this book does the same thing, but not quite to the same degree. And for the first two, and I'm going to be honest, for the first 200 pages, I was kind of bored with this one. It was very slow going for the first 200 pages, and I was really hoping, like, when is this going to kick in the high gear? The story is dragging, it's not really going anywhere, it was kind of getting boring. But once you get past the first 200 pages, then all of a sudden this story just kicks it in the high gear, and it just really takes off, and it gets really, really good. So from that point onward, then it became a page turner. I couldn't put it down. And like the first book, it deals with a lot of these really crazy science fiction concepts, or science, or even not even science fiction concepts, but concepts involving science. And even in the title of the book itself, the idea of the dark forest. So this is a scientific idea, the dark forest. And I've watched some YouTube videos about this idea, the dark forest. And one channel that does a good job talking about it is actually a channel that's owned by a sci-fi author called John Michael Godier. He has a personal YouTube channel, and then he has like a podcast called Event Horizons, and he's talked about this, and he's had guests on talk about the idea of the dark forest. And what the idea is that if you are a spacefaring civilization, or you're at anywhere advanced civilization, it is in probably your best interest to keep your civilization hidden and not let it known, not send a signal or let it known at all throughout the galaxy that, hey, there's a civilization here, we're evolving, we're getting more and more advanced. It would probably lead to a really disastrous result. So that is like one of the major things in this book, is this whole idea of the dark forest. And the way the book deals with it is brilliant. It's a very, very cool concept that the book plays with. And another thing this book does, and it did it, you kind of got a sense of it in the first book, but this one does a better job of it. And it's something that a lot of science fiction out there falls short of. And a lot of science fiction always makes the galaxy feel small. One of the worst offenders of it is Star Wars. Like Star Wars, the Star Wars galaxy is completely explored with, there might be like the unknown regions or whatever, but for the most part, because of the hyperspace lanes, you can, shoot from one end of the galaxy to the other, just like within an afternoon's drive almost. That's how it feels. So with all that going on, it really makes the galaxy feel small. And Star Trek does this as well, and Stargate, and even Babylon 5. A lot of science fiction shows do this. It makes the galaxy feel small because of storytelling conventions. It's always so easy for their ship to get to point A to point B. But in this story, it's a lot like 2001: A Space Odyssey, but it makes the galaxy and the universe feel huge. Like the distances between stars feel completely insurmountable and unpassable, and space travel is portrayed as very difficult and extremely dangerous, and to get from one star to the next is like a Herculean task. It does a great job of that, this book, and that's one of the things I really appreciated about it. It did a fantastic job, and it really feels real. Like and the aliens, the Trisolarians, really feel alien. Like you still don't really know what they look like. I don't think the author hasn't given a description yet of what a Trisolarian actually looks like. No one really knows yet. So we get a little bit more revealed about them, about how their technology and stuff works in this book. But for the most part, they're still pretty much a mystery, which is pretty interesting. Not only that, this book was actually a little bit depressing as well, because the Trisolarians are so advanced. You just feel like, well, humanity doesn't have a chance. Like everything they try is like nothing to the Trisolarians. And to be honest, I don't know how this series is going to end. It feels like it could end with the destruction of humanity at the hands of the Trisolarians. I really couldn't guess. I mean, the author's doing a really good job of keeping this a mystery. Will humanity survive? I don't know. Who knows? But a very, very good sequel to that first book. Another must read. This is so far this has been a fantastic trilogy, and I'm really eager to find out how this ends with the third book, Death's End. So that's everything I got to say in this video. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and I will see you at the next one. I'd like to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I appreciate you all in helping this channel grow. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when new videos are uploaded.